That's James's Greek salad for today with vegan keto, I guess, feta. So there you go. That's the cubed version, and that's what he's having for dessert with his apple pie smoothie. And I'm having the vegan keto Greek sushi and some asparagus and mushrooms in the salad. And James is mostly going to talk about The Longest Hatred, I think, because I don't have much to say about these other films. They were terrible. So.
Oh, I think I saw one of them last night.
Yep.
How was that bad? 2 minutes, 2 hours, I should say, and 20 seconds, and maybe, or 20 minutes and 47 seconds, maybe. Brutal.
So, I'm going to show you, this is my outfit for today, and I love this skirt, and so I'm so glad that I'm able to fit into it again.
It's a great color, eh?
It's fantastic. Well, and feel it, give it a little touch.
Ah, it's really nice.
So it feels good for me to wear it, and it feels good if James happens to brush up against me.
Yeah, and
so,
look at how good it looks on her complexion here. It's kind of
because I'm
maiden
golden.
name was
but right now
gold.
I'm not
gold.
very golden.
Well,
but I'm trying to get some sun, so we'll see how it works out. And these are what's left of our tomatoes
from last year.
Yep. So you can see tomatoes that James is eating in his Greek salad. That's our tomatoes that we grew.
September, October, November, December, January, February.
They're still.
And into March.
I mean, they don't look great right now.
More than half a year. So thank you, tomatoes.
I can give you a close-up of them. Some of them actually do look pretty great.
Yeah.
But, yeah, there's most of them are this kind. I don't know.
Elongated ones?
Yeah, well, sort of.
Who knows what they're called?
I don't know.
Anyway, they're treating us well. But I think we treated them pretty well, don't you think? Like you gave them a really good start.
So,
you're going to tell how you made this fantabulous feta.
Well, do you like it?
Oh, I haven't started. You know, it kind of has an aftertaste. It tastes kind of bland at first. And then you start tasting. I
didn't want to make it too strong because I made my sushi really garlicky, right? And so I was like, I don't know if James is going to like this. And so I didn't make your feta.
Well, it's good because it's actually just about at the point of being too strong for me. So,
really? Okay, so
but it's funny. You don't taste it at first, and then all of a sudden it kicks in. So it's good. It's a slightly different texture from the usual feta, but it's not a bad texture by any means, and it's healthy. So you're going to tell people what's in it now.
Well,
why it's healthy.
It's mostly coconut cream mixed with almond flour. That's what most of it is. So I'll write down the recipe in details about the video. So if you're interested, you can look into how to make this. And the reason that James mostly had crumbled feta is because I had a hard time cutting it away from the edge without crumbling it. So James got the crumble, and so then I'll put this away. So James is going to talk about some longest hatred while I'm going to put this away, and then I'll be back.
Talking about when hatred of Jews started. So the ancient Egyptians, as I was saying before, 2-3 days ago, they just hated everyone outside of themselves. So I was mentioning before, they called the people of the south of them in Kush, as they called it. The Bible calls it Kush too. Present-day Sudan. And the Egyptians drew them with color. Oftentimes, they were very obviously Africans. So it's like black, whatever the term is. And they called them Vile Kush. Okay, the people from Asia, at least the southwestern Asia, they called vile. I said the other day vile sand dwellers, but it's translated vile. I probably just woke up before I was saying that, but I believe it's vile sand fair. So that's their version of camel jockey, and it's way worse than camel jockey. Then they're much hated by their neighbors, apparently, and the Jews, by their own account, when they were part of the Hebrews, they or Israelites. It's probably a very politically incorrect term or something like that, but yeah, they were descendants of a guy called Israel, other named Jacob. I'm going to call them Israelites. What the heck? They were, by their own account, they took over that land from various peoples. Canaanites, I think, were the generic term they used, but I think, or it's considered a generic term. I think it was possible that people from present-day Lebanon come down there and colonize that place to a certain imperialize, whatever. Genachnu Canaanite is more of, I don't think it's an ethnic designation, I think it's more of a geographical designation. Anyway, one group that had that were neighbored on them, that had no business messing around with them, are called the Amalekites. There are others, but they generally call them Amalekites. They came from another part of the Arabian Peninsula or the Sinai Peninsula. And the Bible gives an account of them, and various accounts. And a typical account is typical for nomads, pastoral nomads. They'd come down at harvest time and rape, loot, pillage, and do whatever else, plunder. You had to make sure it was harvest time. So fun times. The weird idea people have about pastoral nomads is, they're peaceful. They're not, you stupid chimps go around saying that sort of stuff. They're nomadic. They're not even peaceful where they come from. They've only got a few water sources, and they go down and try to control water sources in a particular place. They're called oases in this area, for you folks that don't know what I'm talking about. And they'll fight over them and all this sort of stuff. The whole idea with people are going around saying pastoral nomads are peaceful is, they've always got some place to run off to, but they don't. Saudi Arabia, for example, is maybe a quarter of the territory of the United States in terms of the size, square miles or square kilometers, whatever you measure it in, 1/4. And but there's not, you can't run every place, and they've got a place that's translated as empty quarter. I think people might range across there every so occasionally, but it's just a place where it's not very conducive to survival. Yeah? After the Amalekites, you've got folks that had no business being there, way less business than the progenitors of the Jews and their, I guess you'd call them cousins or something like that, the Hebrews in general. They were called the Syrians. Syrians. So that's Syrian with AS in front. And they stomped into that area in a serious way, starting with Tiglath-Pileser, I prefer that pronunciation, but I think the biblical pronunciation, Tiglath-Pileser, it's Tukulti Apalashara, something like that, as a closer approximation in the ancient Assyrians. The Bible calls him Pul as well, and they thought, well, that's stupid. Who's that? And then they found out, the Babylonians called Tiglath-Pileser the same thing, Pul. Just another sign that the Bible actually has some things that have to be, folks, considered historical. You're talking to an agnostic here, and an agnostic is talking to you, but I don't believe in picking on Christians and Jews.
Maybe that's why Numbers is still in there.
Why?
Well, just so that people have the idea that, if they kept this stuff in here, this must be history. Because honestly, who wants to hear about Numbers?
Well, it's basically numbers. It's a lot of things, but the core of it, I'd say, is syntheses or sensi or whatever. So yeah, it's there.
And how big each fabric or whatever to make the tent.
The
So
tabernacle.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tent of worship. Tabernacle is just a technical term or something like that. So it's a tent, big tent.
So I'm going to talk for a while so that you have a chance to eat.
So
thank you for letting
hold that
me
thought
eat.
about the Assyrians. Exactly right. So I didn't deal with any horrible details about people hating Jews and Hebrews and Israelites and stuff like that. But started it. Hold that thought. Now we're going to. Is this one okay? Oh no! This one's awful.
No, and
And stuff gets worse.
Yeah.
Holy smokes! I don't even know what these bottom two are like,
No.
but they've got to be pretty bad.
Yeah.
So I'll just repeat again. Inception, 2 hours and 20 minutes and maybe 40 seconds on top of that of, I won't call it misery, but largely boredom. Go for
Largely
it.
boredom. Yeah. So I should tell you that this skirt is a size extra small. But I fit it because it's goes out in the hips. Oh, I forgot.
It flares
It's so
out.
wonderful. Yeah. Because it even has pockets. This is like the most perfect skirt. So
Didn't
I
they
hope,
used to have pockets in some of those 50s flared dresses?
Yeah.
Yeah, pockets. I think it's a good idea.
And that's really what I recommend for hiking
yeah.
is something like this. Or a dress, a 50s dress, really. That flares out like that. Perfect for hiking.
Just got to make sure you check for ticks in the spring and summer.
Well, it's pretty easy too. Anyway, so Inception. I saw a preview for this movie recently while watching another movie, and I thought, I don't think I've seen that. And so I looked it up at the library, and they had it on the west side, so I ordered it in. And yeah, I may as well have not done that. It was really boring. The special effects, yes, they were good.
The acting actually was reasonably good.
And yeah, I mean, how can count? Leonardo DiCaprio was good.
It's a pretty darn good actor.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt is great. Ellen Page is fine. So I don't know. They had a lot of decent talent here. And Michael Caine. And
He played Michael Caine, but he does that with energy.
right. So
Always has.
James likes Michael Caine. Anyway, what James said about it after, we were commenting on it while we were watching the movie and after it a bit. And James said they had too many balls in the air. And that was what he thought the problem was.
Well, I said, because I don't want people to misinterpret that when they could interpret it as, for letter word, too many bowling pins in here.
Okay. And honestly, the idea for the story seems interesting. And it just didn't work. It was very long. It felt very long.
Complicated.
And it was complicated, and honestly, there were things about it that didn't quite come across well. You get that this guy is doing this for money, but this is even bigger deal for him to get this project done because the guy who's hiring him says, well, I can get you back to your kids, so this is even bigger. He's having to stay away from his kids, and he's doing this work for money, but now he has an opportunity to get his old life back. So that's that's his motivation. So I can see that, but there's just not there. Yeah, there's just too much story that has to happen.
And they can't
fit it in.
Over 2 hours.
So honestly, what they need to do with this is make it into a TV series. That's the only way they could actually
Extend
flesh
it over
this
5
out.
or 6 years.
Sure, whatever, and get the story out in a decent way without having to cram it all together. And that's the only way to make this work. It didn't work as a movie.
One of the things that bug me is the ad hoc things like, how are we going to get around this? Oh, this is all we have to do. They don't even bother with semi-scientific explanations. We can do this. Kind of cut a corner here. I'm going,
and that was the
sounds
problem
like
I
ad hoc,
had with
just
it
made
when we
up
were
for the
talking.
nonsense. Yep.
Is I was like, well, they didn't really work on the story well enough, you know.
Well, we're talking about the same thing.
And so it's, they need to work on the story a little bit better. It's an interesting idea, and they can do even better special effects now.
Yeah.
And,
When was that put out?
well, I don't think it was that long ago, but 2010 maybe.
Well, it was well done.
I have a hard time seeing the. Anyway, so I wouldn't recommend that movie.
I would recommend you don't. Okay, folks, definitely don't buy the thing, and don't bother renting it or whatever.
No.
Or getting it on Netflix or whatever. What was I going to say? Yeah, one of the things that bothered me, notice like different groups of people or individuals were on different time scales.
Yeah.
And you're going, how did they keep track of it, you know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it takes a lot of the suspense out of it, because like it's going to have to work out. Mm-hmm. Everyone's on, like you got this van dropping off of a bridge, is it, or something like that? It's slow motion,
box elder.
dragging. There were a lot of them out today.
Yeah. Well, and we saw a lot of birds out.
Last night, like in St. Augustine's Church inside, they were just swarming in there.
Oh wow!
They want to get saved. There you go, Anglicans.
Okay.
So
very nice.
Attracted to the Anglican Church.
All right. Well, yeah. So it's about dream hopping. It's hopping into other people's dreams, manipulating. It's a sort of mind control thing.
Yeah.
It's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
And I think they should make it into a TV series. That's all.
Yeah. Just something I'm not going to catch, but.
Well, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I know.
I watch everything.
But
so,
she'll watch it while she's actually sexy.
I'll watch this.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to work out to this morning, and I have given up on caffeine. This is my second day without caffeine, and I feel like I'm dragging myself around. I gave up on caffeine years ago because it had triggered migraines, but then on the keto I realized, wait a minute, I'm not getting the migraine from the coffee. So I'd have a little bit before a workout, and it'd work out just fine. And so I was doing that, and I decided it's just not healthy. I was having to take a lot of breaks in my workout to go pee, and I was figuring I'm just peeing out my nutrients, and I probably was. So I'm trying to get off of it now, but I'm very, very tired, and I am not having a good workout. And I put this on to work out, and I had it on for 11 minutes, and I was like, nope, and I took it off, and I put something else on. Oh yeah, the crime scene CSI that you were watching yesterday. So that's what I put on, and that was fine. And then I put this on again afterwards, because I only had a couple episodes to catch up on, and man, this is dreadful. It says nightmarish, traumatizing, terrifying. No, boring.
I hope the technical values are better than what the pictures.
Nope, they're not.
Everything's smeared and. Well, here I can't even see what's.
It looks like they're trying to do some sort of a Blair Witchy sort of thing.
That's kind of the impression I got. Just from looking at the front and the back.
So
Blair
bad.
Witch Project. I was down in front because it was a crowded theater.
Yeah, well, that worked.
And I'm prone to motion sickness. I got motion sick from that thing.
That worked because it was the first of its kind.
Is that true?
And that's the only reason why it worked.
Yeah.
So, anybody who wants to do that sort of thing on the cheap,
don't try it again.
No.
Same sort of thing.
You can't get away with it now.
Andy Kaufman. you never do it, you know, like
Yeah.
because he's playing against expectations. If someone else does it, they'll be saying, well, he's just doing Andy Kaufman or whatever.
Yeah.
Get
So,
your own shtick.
I had put this one on.
And you put it at the bottom. Okay.
I put this one on a couple days ago,
Yeah.
and I don't even think I made it. Well, I probably made it past 11 minutes, but I didn't make it very far. I was watching it, and I'm just. They start out. They're making a cake. Husband and wife in the kitchen, and they have a very fancy kitchen. Anyway, they're making a cake together, and the husband's mixing batter in the bowl, and the wife is just sitting on the counter, and so she's not doing anything. And then he realizes he needs some ingredients, and she's like, well, I'm going to go out and get the baking soda. And
You mean like buy it?
yeah, so she's going to go buy the baking soda, and he's going to keep working on making the cake.
Beating up the batter.
And it's like, well, why? I mean, if you're out of baking soda, you're not doing anything. You're not mixing up the batter, even. That's like,
It's
one
a
of the
basic.
first things. Yeah. So that's in the batter. It should have been something like, oh, we don't have anything for the icing.
Icing.
That makes sense,
Yeah.
because you have some time. He can be making the cake while you're getting whatever for the icing. But honestly, I didn't make it that much further. Well, I made it seeing her, she gets killed, and stuff like that. But
When she's going out for the...
yeah,
Oh.
well, she gets dead. So, anyway, I didn't make it much past there, and I just can't care to put it on anymore again. So, the other one I at least put back on.
Yeah.
This one, I'm like, I don't want to.
So you're suggesting that people who wrote this are the kind of folks who have never actually cooked?
Actually
They always
made a cake. Yeah,
go
they
out
had
to a
no
restaurant
idea
to
that
order in.
they figure that they can just make a cake, keep working on it without the baking soda, and then like somehow inject it later or something. I don't know.
You know, folks, if you're going to do arts, get a life. Like, get a real job and actually eat real food, and don't imbibe in a lot of pharmaceuticals, including mainly alcohol and stuff like that. But in other words, in short, get a life.
So when I say coconut cream for the feta, what I mean is like you buy blocks that are just dry, like they're in cardboard and they look like a white bar of soap that's a rectangle. They're absolutely dry coconut cream. Like, I bought them before and I'm like, what in the world do I do with this stuff? It's not cream that you take out of the, like, if you're making whipped coconut cream to put on top of strawberries or something like that, then you take your can of coconut milk and you stick it in the fridge, and then the fat will rise to the top and you skim that off, and that makes awesome whipped cream, right? You just take it off and you can mix a little bit of vanilla extract in and some maple syrup, say. That's awesome for whipped cream. It's better than Cool Whip. It's delish. So, but that's not what I'm talking about. When I talk about coconut cream, I'm talking about it's firm at room temperature. And yes, you can use coconut oil that is also firm at room temperature. But the coconut cream will work even better. So, or it works really well. Just blocks. And they're cheap. So, anyway. That's all I have to talk about. So, if you want to talk about longest hatred, do you?
Yeah, exactly right. Just maybe check and see how much time I've got to.
All right. Well, you have 4.5 minutes, and
All right,
I
talk
am
about
going
this,
to take in the tomatoes. So go ahead.
So the Assyrians stomped into Israel, It's misnomered Palestine nowadays. In a politically correct fashion. It's supposed to be politically incorrect to call that place Israel. So they stumped in there, and they took various steps turning the rulers of the northern part of present-day Israel. We call it Israel. The Syrians called it Bit Omri. That's the house of Omri. Omri was the dad of Ahab, and the father-in-law, I guess, by extension, of Jezebel, Queen Jezebel. Oh, he's barely mentioned in the Bible, Omri is, but it seemed to be important enough for the Assyrians to call Israel. I think every time they mentioned it, the northern 10 tribes or 9 tribes or whatever, probably they say 10 tribes, it was more like 9 tribes. Why is it the Levites would have been left? Well, let me think. Might even be less than that. In Judah, that included Benjamin, Judah itself, Simeon, way off to the south of Judah, and then part of the Levites. It's actually, the 10 tribes weren't lost, it was like 8.5. But there you go. But the Assyrians eventually got so annoyed, without any real reason. They had no right to be in that area. The Assyrians came from the northern part of Iraq. Now, I want to make a stress again, these aren't Syrians. They didn't come from Syria, they're Assyrians. And at that point in time, around 720 BC, they were the most powerful empire in the world, maybe in the history of the world, actually. They, Shalmanes are the fifth. Shalmanes are the fifth. Took off the so-called 10 lost tribes, scattered them around the Assyrian Empire. Some of them actually went back to the core of the Assyrian Empire in the northern part of Iraq. The artisans and so on and so forth. But many were spread. I think many of them ended up in the borderline between Syria and Turkey and stuff like that. Anyway, according to the Syrians, these were bad folks because they didn't obey them. But the Syrians had no right to be ordering anyone around. But the Syrians are very nasty. One person said the Neo-Assyrian period, which could be dated variously from, let's say, 930 BC or 911 BC down to variously 612, 609 BC, so roughly 300 years. They did half, let's say, of all the ethnic cleansing conducted by all the entities, at least in the fertile present Middle East, or Near East as it's called by the experts in ancient history. All of the all the ethnic cleansing or more conducted. So that was just one ethnic group, the Assyrians. Doing that sort of stuff, they were incredibly barbaric and didn't seem very embarrassed about it. They actually would boast about the various atrocities they'd commit. The Cambridge Ancient History, put out by, of course, Cambridge University Press. I think there have been 2 editions. The most recent edition is actually probably getting somewhat out of date. One writer in there called their approach calculated frightfulness. So a very English kind of term, frightfulness.